Well, my name's George Taylor, and I'm from Claremore, Oklahoma. Upon graduating from Claremore High School, I knew the importance of two things, of money and education, and sometimes those two things are really associated with each other. And my parents didn't have enough money for me to go to school, so I financed my own education through a series of loans and working during the summer. But once I graduated, I took a job with Texaco in corporate financial reporting. Then I was an internal auditor for Mobile. I actually worked for Enron, and yes, that Enron in Houston. But I spent about 15 years in oil and gas and 10 years as a CFO for a private company in Atlanta. Then my dad, who's a Methodist minister, he was here in Okmulgee, it's a creek. He got really sick, so I moved back to Oklahoma, and then he passed away within a year. But I've always wanted to work for a tribe in a financial position, and I thought with my experience now, it's over 35 years of professional experience at different levels, I thought my experience could really lend itself to the tribe, and I could help the Muskogee Nation not just grow, but to actually thrive. Oh, for sure. I mean, going from college as a college graduate and going into the professional world, there's no transition. You don't have any classes that prepare you to go from student to professional life. So that in itself is a big step, and you learn a lot. But sadly enough, most of my learning experiences have been watching how people do things in an incorrect environment or method. And so I've learned just to do the opposite. And the biggest thing is talking to people and listening to people. Most people in the business world just don't do that. And me, coming from a background with Muskogee Indians, my mom was a nurse at the Claremore Indian Hospital for about 40 years. And you know, my dad being a minister, they were all about talking with people. So I really wanted to bring that in focus in my career, because I think you really learn a lot just by listening to people. But in the different environments in oil and gas, big corporations, they're very strict on a lot of things. But when you get to smaller environments, you have a lot more freedom. And I've always thought education is a key. And along the way, I passed the Certified Public Accountancy exam. Then I passed the Certified Payroll Professional exam because I worked for a payrolling company. And then I went back to a more structured environment, and I actually received my MBA from Oklahoma Christian University in 2013. And that I don't recommend for anybody to try to do later in their career, but it was a good experience. Well, my initial reaction is coming back to the complex, just how large it's gotten and how big of a business the Muskogee Nation actually has. And one thing I've always thought is the gaming side, Native American tribes should take advantage of that while they can, because you don't know when it's going to end. You have several taxing authorities that could make it not economically feasible to continue that. And I've always thought that the tribes should fund social services as well as education. So right now it's just a learning experience, getting to know people, personalities, seeing where the tribe wants to go, and just assisting them in the financial aspect. Well, for this particular staff here, it is just getting to know people, but one thing I wasn't prepared for was all the travel and the meetings. I mean, it's like our meeting Monday, I just said my time is consumed with meetings. But I do try to get around and get to know everybody, and that process will still continue, and I want to talk to everybody individually, see what they like, what they don't like, if there's some things we can change for them, because I think having an employee base that is happy, they're more productive, and they're more prone to excelling at their job. So give those people the resources they need, and then give them the flexibility to actually do their job. But as far as James, Chief Floyd, and all the things he has on the table, I'm really impressed at that. And I don't know if anybody's seen the master plan for the complex, the tribal complex, and the other things. and getting the financing in place. And he is more of a forward thinker, because a lot of times people look at the basic financing like with banks or whatever, but there is another financing instrument that's out there, and it's bond funding, which we are looking at, which over the term of the bond would save us $600,000, $700,000 in interest alone. But to see his vision, and his background is with health, so he's more of that one-on-one, interested in people and programs. I really like that. Typically in oil and gas, especially where I started, there's not a whole lot of movement. So if you stay with the corporation for a long time, typically you're not going to move up the ladder. So in oil and gas, you really get recommended positions from other people and other companies. But this is more or less a dream position for me, because all this education that I've gotten, all the knowledge and experience I've gotten from other corporations, companies, is really going to help the tribe. And for me, this would be a terminal position, being, I'd like it to be my last professional position before I retire. I'm just really glad to be here, and glad to see that the tribe is doing well with their money. As before, I'd worked a little bit with Colorado River Indian tribes, and I worked with 7 tribes in southwest Oklahoma. And that's not always the case, that those tribes are not always financially solvent. So I'm just glad for the Muskogee Nation that they have the leadership in place that does have that financial acumen, and I think the citizens will benefit from that. And I'm glad to be a part of it.